Hello everybody, I'm Funko Dunko, a comic that reviews games in a cave. Today, I'll be talking about Kirby Star Allies, the only game where lifelong enemies are chilled due to the power of love. The game's rough story is that some cloaked guys doing things with a heart-shaped fucking alarm! The game's rough story is that some cloaked guys doing things with a heart-shaped stone in space, but explodes and shards of it disperse over the galaxy, many landing on planet Popstar, Kirby's home. Kirby discovers that he can summon friend hearts, which basically mindfucks enemies into becoming your friends. With the power of old friends and older foes, Kirby and his mates must head out into space to figure out what's disrupting his home. I'm not going to act like this story is amazing or anything. Honestly, most Kirby games just boil down to Kirby sleeping, something wakes him up, he kills an ancient god of no good. Doesn't mean it's bad, it's just safe, you know? Let's all just come together and save the world in Kirby Star Allies. The game starts with a pre-rendered cutscene of the cloaked guy doing his no good, fucking up, and Kirby being awoken by a heart falling onto him. Kirby sees the Waddle Dees are once again taking the townspeople's food to King Dedede, so he springs into action to stop his longtime rival. Kirby's surprised by a Poppy Bros Jr., but then realizes he can create friend hearts. By simply hitting an enemy with one, they're now best friends. Additionally, get someone like a Burning Leo or Waddle Doo to attack your sword, and you can invoke it with elemental powers to solve puzzles. Solving the puzzles can lead to finding puzzle pieces or rare ones, which are the game's main collectibles. Puzzle pieces are tallied at the end of the level, with rare ones filling exclusive pink spots. The puzzles themselves are simply key arts representing all of Kirby's past adventures, such as Kirby's Dream Land, Planet Robobot, literally every single past game. I'm not going to say all of them. Also in levels, you can find the Dream Switches, which open up paths to either extra levels or the Dream Palace. Within these elusive Dream Palaces are the Dream Rods, a magical rod that allows Kirby to summon one of his prior friends or foes. While you only start with a few characters available, it later blooms into a nice 13 to pick from. You have prior friends that were added in updates like Adeline and Ribbon, Gooey, alongside former foes like Marks, Susie, and Magalore. I won't be using the added DLC characters though, due to them frankly being overpowered, especially in comparison to the ones at launch, and it makes the game way easier than it already is. The third level introduces multi-route doors. These lead to paths where Kirby and his friends are split up into 2 to 4 groups, where the separate groups must help each other in order to get them to move along the path. There's also a giant Waddle Dee ball that explodes, which is very funny. Next up is the bonus level. The bonus levels in this game aren't too different from the main ones. The only thing of note is how they tend to have enemies you can team up with that normally only appear in the later levels, and they also have somewhat unique themes, such as this one just being night, which it's a nice change of pace. But next is the first boss, and to any Kirby fans, it should be no shocker that is, once again, Wispy Woods, since he has been a boss in every single Kirby game since the very first one. So, you burn him alive, but if you throw a little heart at him once he's defeated, he perks back up and showers you in snacks and stars. Now it's time to storm Dedede's castle!
Here comes the boy. Hello. Welcome. There
I am going to protect this little electric brick until my dying breath. So you acquire the most wonderful creature ever, and storm the castle to encounter King Dedede, who is once again eating all the townfolk's food. He doesn't do much besides hop around, but once he reveals he's fucking jacked, and breaks through several layers of his own castle in order to separate you from your friends. In the end though, he's deflated like a balloon, and the world is saved. Credits rolling. Overall, the game is very short, but purely because plugg is in the game, it's worth it and the best game ever. Thank you very much for watching. Wait, what? With our heroes discovering their journey isn't over, they start to move all over planet Popstar. This world is actually my favorite one in the game, thanks to how its levels are laid out. It kind of mimics how Mario games are, with having a beach, snow, lava world, but instead of having like 10 levels of just those themes and the boss, they're just single levels. It keeps that same feeling of progression while not getting stale. The first level of this world also introduces my favorite copy ability, cleaning. I mostly just like it because all the moves utilize characters from Kirby's Dream Land 3 that didn't become Dream Friends. Also, he's just cute with his little towel on his head. I got a little plush of him for Christ's sake. Actually, wait a second. Is there a plug Kirby plush? No, my boy. This level also introduces friend action platforms. While standing on one, you and your friends can come together to perform a friend action, which can be coming together to form a wheel, train, or platform for others to walk on, among other things. They also kind of only serve the purpose of making levels a little more interesting, but they're cool. Kirby summons King Dedede to his aid. They go to a beach level, ice level, and lava level before they reach this castle, in which Kirby and his friends come together to form the Friend Star. Using the power of a warp star and friendship, they come together to blast through everything in their path. On top of the summit to the castle is Meta Knight, who tells you to pick it up. Halfway through the fight, Meta Knight would call upon the evil heart Dedede coughed up in order to create clones of himself. Nevertheless, he is defeated and recruited to this team. Just as they finish celebrating, a giant spaceship comes down and digs into planet Popstar, so our heroes head straight for the Jam Bastion looking for answers. They attempt to go through the main gates, but the pair of Pon and Con block their path. Luckily, they go down without much struggle, and with a friend heart, they open up the gate for Plugg and Co. Entering the fortress is met with little interference, until an ice mage shows up. She introduces herself as Francisca, where she and the other two, part of her team, command the Jam Bastion. Their plan is to reassemble the Jamba Heart pieces, which is the thing that made King Dedede and Meta Knight so evil, to do a bad thing. Kirby hates bad things though, so he and the others kick her ass. They let her live though, so she takes the Jamba Heart piece and GTFOs. Also, King Dedede and Meta Knight went out to eat some sand cakes, so just don't worry about them, they're chillin'. Kirby then discovers the friend train action, which is somewhat similar to the wheel, except it's faster once you run on walls. That train though runs a track directly into the second mage sister, Flamberge, who has a burning rage to let out on you. She gets a similar story to Francisca though, leaving with another Jamba piece. Finally, at the apex of Jam Bastion, they encounter Zan Partisan, the electric mage. She states that her liege, Ward Highness, demands that nothing interferes, so she must destroy you. Can you guess what happens next? On her way out though, she stabs into the core of the ship's engine, causing the whole thing to crumble. Luckily, with the power of friendship, the gang rolls out of there. I just want to say how cool I think this segment is. Even if it's just as basic as a 2D runner where all you can do is jump, you're actually going backwards through the Jam Bastion's prior levels while in this form, which is really cool in my opinion. The gang eventually finds a friend star, so they use it to hightail it out of there, and into deep space. All that's left for the team is to planet hop their way back to where the ritual started. They stop by a planet where everything is autumn, re-encounter Wispy Woods, only to then find the intergalactic doppelganger, Yiggy Woods. Burn him alive all the same, and you move forward to a beach planet. Plugg decided that he wanted to be yelled because that's my boy! They encounter the metallic doubles of Goldon and Silvox, who use the tower to misdirect you. There is the cavernous planet that functions like a mini-boss rush for all the mini-bosses I neglected to mention up until now, and will continue to neglect because there ain't much to say other than I like Vividria's design. As they try to leave the planet though, they're stopped by Grand Mam, who tries to hit you with her giant bomb arms. Instead, you cut them off and blow them up right in her face in order to destroy her armor. Without it, she doesn't stand much of a chance. Next up is an ice planet which has ice stuff, including the familiar face of Francisca, now back for revenge. So, send her flying to the atmosphere before moving on to an odd castle-like planet. At its summit is the familiar foe of Kracko. At first, it looks like he goes down easily, but then he splits into two of himself, and then they both go down slightly less easily. Kirby lands on a lava planet, and I'm gonna guess you know what happens next. That's right, Kirby goes to your local Arby's as a pit stop, but realizes the food is so disgusting, they decide to fight Flamberge in a parking lot as a form to protest. So you send her flying off again, and go towards the Jambandra base. After some more light platforming, Kirby and Co. finally make it to the altar. Lord Highness is slowly adding Jamba pieces back into the Jamba Heart to complete the ritual. The loyal Zan Partisan stands in your way, but of course, she's knocked out. She calls for a master, where he bitch slaps Zan out of his way before ranting him in the name of his Dark Lord for coming out into battle. While he may seem easy to defeat at first, when his health bar is almost depleted, his cowl flies off to review. Oh my god. We both got dick noses! He understands my pain! He sucks the elemental powers out of the Mage Sisters for himself to strike you down. While he uses them as simple projectiles at first, he goes as far as to use them as a shield and even form his own friend wheel. But it was pointless for him as he struck down. As a last-ditch effort, he gives offering of his strongest magic to the Dark Lord, including himself. And with that, his dream came true. The Jamba heart erupts with dark energy, flying out into space. Kirby, Plugg, and those two guys get onto the final Friend Star in order to take it out for good as the Kirby Star Allies. Out in space, the Dark Lord, Destroyer of Stars, Void Termina, takes form. Atop the Star Ally Sparkler, Kirby and Co. must attack weak spots as they form on him, and once they're all gone, they enter it in order to destroy the core. The Mage Sisters and Highness hang helplessly in the background, contained within the fleshy wraps of Termina's innards. As the core is damaged, they're released one by one, with the whole group being sent back out for Phase 2. Void Termina grows wings and attempts to sweep across their stage, but if you dodge at the last moment, you enter a bullet time where you can fire a volley of stars off at the weak spots. Upon re-entering it, the core is fully exposed, and it oddly takes an appearance similar to Kirby, but later reveals it's another form of dark matter. As Kirby escapes with his friends, the core escapes the meat soup as well for a final attempt to destroy Kirby. They charge up before firing their giant rays at each other, and all that's left is to mash your fucking ass off! Go, go! And all of Kirby's former allies appear in order to overwhelm Void Termina with the power of true friendship. As Termina explodes, they make a valiant escape. While Kirby floats in space, riddled with exhaustion, his friends return to his side. Kirby sees his home in the distance. With one final wave, it's all over. Overall, I think the main game is pretty fun. Pretty easy in terms of a Kirby game, especially with how they throw extra lives like candy. I mean, my old 100% save file from the COVID era has over 300 lives saved up. The story, while nothing too exciting, is still interesting. But wait, don't go yet, because we still got side modes, bitches! First up the bat is Star Slam Heroes. In this game, you're tasked to hit the A button when the bar's filled up and time your swing right in order to knock an asteroid back as far as possible. And yes, this is light years away, which is the reason why I think Kirby is stronger than Doomguy and Raw Strength. Next on the chopping block is Chop Champs. Cut the tree as fast as possible and switch sides to avoid the worms or Gordos that come down with it. And yeah, that's about it. The final three though are only unlocked after beating the main story, just so y'all know. There's Guest Star Blank, Star Allies Go, where you play as any of your prior allies and go through the game in a time attack mode. Collect these color-coded hearts to increase your speed, health, or damage, capping at 5 per. The ultimate choice is a true boss rush, where you set up your team of allies and go through a gauntlet of all your prior bosses. Finally, there's Heroes in Another Dimension, where you can go through 4 levels to collect hearts. On the way, you get to transform into DLC Star Allies to use their unique abilities. There's only one thing I want to talk about next, but it's the most secret part of the game. If you beat the ultimate choice on the hardest difficulty, you get, spoiler alert, the 3 Mage Sisters as a usable Star Ally. And they are just as overpowered as you like it to be, like a 1-to-1 conversion of their boss fights into a character, and it is a wonderful power trip. And that's Kirby Star Allies. Overall, while a very basic Kirby story and game, it's still a quality experience that I was very happy to return to after years without touching it. It runs amazingly on the Switch 1 with no lag spikes. The friend gimmick gives the game something that helps it stand out among the crowd of Kirby games. The free DLC allies are a great love letter to returning Kirby fans. And I know you're probably expecting me to get all pissed off and have that one song play, but I don't have anything to be mad at. This is just a good game. It's not great, it's not awful, it's like a comfort game, you know? But yeah. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. See ya!